there, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and it is that time of year again when we look at my planner. But this year I have something a little different. I haven't got the Erin Condren that I've had previous years, so although I've got all those covers and everything, I thought that it would be really nice to use my Filofax. I've had this Filofax 2 years now, so I thought first of all I'll just show you the Filofax, and then we're going to go to the computer and I'm going to show you exactly what we're doing to produce the inserts for the Filofax. So this is an actual Filofax. I have, you may have seen a couple of years back, this beautiful sort of berry coloured one that I had, so I've got that one, but I just, as you can imagine, I fell in love with the colour of this, and it's a beautiful soft, look at the leather, it's so soft, and it's this patent leather, and the colour, as you can see, hopefully it comes across okay on the camera, it's just gorgeous. So it's just got a strap to hold it together. I've already put a pen in there. I may well change that, but that is literally all I've done. I haven't done anything else to the inners. So what you get with it is the front cover, the plastic. So then you've got your front Filofax cover, and then you've got some dividers, and then we've got papers. So we've got a whole heap of to-dos. Then we've got some lined paper and also some gridded paper, and then we've got blank, and then we've got contact details, and then we've got coloured, let's get to that, we've got all these coloured papers. So then at the back here we have got the actual planner itself. This is what came with it. Now obviously this is 2016, and at the time that I actually purchased it, it was out of date, because this is why it was on sale. And then on the back page here we've got a lovely little ruler divider here, and then on the very back here we've got a wallet, which is really nice. I like wallets to put things in. And then on the actual Filofax we've got a back wallet there, and we've also got, is this Mitch? Yeah, I meet in the middle, and we've got this in the back. And then I didn't show you, it does also have a wallet on the front in there as well, and it's just such a beautiful leather, it's so soft. Now I'm going to show you on the computer exactly what I'm planning on doing, and I wanted to show you really that it is not that difficult to do your own inserts and have a bit of fun with them, and there are lots of them being made ready made or for you to print, whichever you prefer, and there's lots of them online. Now the place that I go and the place that I find literally is full of these artisans creating this amazing work is Etsy. There's just loads on there, and you literally just put in planner inserts and up they pop. Anyway, so let's go over to the computer and get cracking there. So here we are on Etsy. So the lady that I found that I am going to be using for my inserts is Manu Design. Her name's Manuela. I'm not quite sure how you say that. Anyway, Design Studio. So I will put a link to her on the blog post that goes with this video for you, so that you can find it if you're interested. Now, although she does both planner stuff, both printed and printable, she also does a lot of stuff that is relevant to us as crafters, which she's put under the heading of scrapbook, but would definitely be applicable to card makers too. So you've got things like digital papers that you can print, you've got the overlays, you've got kind of ephemera type stuff that you can put together, frames and tags. I mean, at the moment that's all kind of Christmas, but you've got, here we go, non-Christmas coming up here. Look, what you want to do is find the thing that you like. So let's just pick up this planner here. This is only 1 month, I think. So say we like that, you add it to your cart. So it's real simple, and then click on whichever payment method you choose. I paid with PayPal. Then make your payment. You will then get an email, or you might have a page come up that tells you that you can download the files. So this is what came up on my page. It said, do you want to download your files? I clicked on do you want to download your files, and this is what came up for me. So I purchased planner pages, contact pages, notes pages, to-do list, shopping list, grocery list, planner, inserts, and printable planner. So basically, let me show you a bit a lot simpler. So for this, what you get is you get shopping list and a notes pages, so you can print these out as many times as you want. Things to do list. A calendar, that's not going to work. It's not been updated, so that's out of date now, but to be honest, I'm not that bothered about that anyway. So then also the contact pages. You can also get these individually. What you get with her as well, which is really good, is you get them in A5, which is your Filofax size, but you also get it in your American half letter size page. So if you've got any American planner sizes books, you can use that, or if you've made your own covers or whatever, you can use that, so you get both. So then the next thing that I got, so this is the actual planner, you know, your day-to-day planning. So you've got here every day of year on a page. So she's just given you some examples here, and you can see, I mean, it just looks, I love the fact that they're all different. I love the vintage feel on this. And then the final thing that I got was the monthly pages. So I wanted to have, like in the Erin Condren, where I had a month to view on 2 pages like this, because I find that useful for planning out an overview of posts, etc. So as you can see, these look really, really pretty. Now, just to say, I also spoke to her about making me a page for my blog posts, so for planning my blog posts. So I got that, and I also said to her, do you have the dividers, because I thought I saw them on the planners, but I couldn't find them in the store. Well, I think I just saw now they're actually in the store. I was in full expectation of paying for both these items. However, just in full disclosure, I thought that I should tell you that I got those 2 items as a free gift, which I thought was very sweet. Anyway, going back to this, all you need to do then, once you get to this page, is you click on your download. With the Mac computer, it comes up to here. You can see the progress, but it actually then puts it in the downloads folder, which is here. And then what you get is this PDF that has the links, and then you just click on these and it will download it. And this particular one is my notes page. But then what you've got is all the different things that you need. So then continue down that whole list of the downloads, including this one here. So each time you may get these, depends on what's on there, and then so just make your way through it until you have downloaded everything that you've purchased. So then once you've downloaded everything, I would suggest put them in their own folder all together, so that you know exactly where everything is and how it's all sorted. I found that easier personally. Okay, so there are several different items to obviously print, but there is only a couple of different methods that we need to worry about. So I'm going to show you the first one, which is the simple one of, we've got one page and then a page on the back, and in this case it's either the same page on the back, which is really easy, or we've got a slightly different page but it's in a different document, so basically it's the same thing. So we've got here, for that we've got my blog post, which is, this is the front of it, and then the back is that, and then we've got the additionals, as I've called them, which is addresses, which I'm not going to print out, but that's what it looks like. And then we've got the, which one's this? Oh, this is the calendar. Now this is out of date, but it has now been updated, so your one will have 2018, but again, I actually don't want that, so I wasn't too worried. And then we've got here the notes page, so we do want that, so let's open that. Now I'm opening the JPEG of this one because I think that's nice and simple to use. And then we've got the shopping page. Again, I'm going to open the JPEG, and then I've also got the to-do page, and I'm opening the JPEG. Yeah, that's all the ones that are going to be done like this. So first of all, with the blog post, just because they're different on the back and front, it is actually the same method. So we've got a JPEG here. All we're going to do is we're going to open up the print. You want to change this to borderless. Now, this may be in a slightly different place on yours because this actual box may look slightly different because it will be, each printer will give a different look. Then you want to go, whoops, I kept doing that. I don't want that. You want copies per page. I want 2. And now can you see it's automatically filled it and put them there, A5 already, so it knows that when it's A5 to fit 2 on, it just needs to rotate it, and that's automatic. Then for me, I need to go to this one because I want to do it through the rear tray, just because that prints better for me. So that's what I do there, and then I press print. And we'll print those out. So obviously I'm going to print a few copies, so let's put 6, and that will give us not 6, it gives us 6 sheets, so that's 12 actual little half blog posts. Okay, so then we hit print. Okay, so these are the first pages printed, and hasn't it come out lovely, especially considering I am running out of pink magenta ink. So this is my designed pages, and you can see that it's borderless, so it's gone right to the edges, and all I'm going to have to do is chop it down the middle. However, as you may recall, I also have a notes page which I want on the reverse. So this came out of my printer, it went through and it sat in the tray like so. So with my printer, I'm just going to flip it like that and put it back in the top tray, and then it should come through and print, because I need it to be on the reverse, and that's because it's a separate document, so it just thinks I'm starting again, so I need to be sure that it's going to print that way up, and then the rest should be fine. So in order to keep it that way up, I just need to flip it like that, and it should be fine. Okay, so now we've printed the front, whether that be of the blog post or any of the other ones, so it'll be the same across the board. So we've printed all of those fronts. Then you want to now print the backs. So as I just showed you on the camera in real life, twist your sheets over so that the notes and the whatever it is, but the 2 top parts of them are both in the same position. So when it prints through correctly. And put that back into your printer feed, and then click on print, exactly the same as we just did with your 2 copies, etc., making sure it's borderless, and then print the exact same number of copies. So you could do all the fronts of all the different types, and then do all the backs, and then just, as long as you remember how many you did and what order you did them in, then you could do a chunk like that, or you can do them one at a time, but then just say click the quantity and then click print, and off. Okay, so here are the pages printed. So I printed of my blog pages, which I love. So I wanted a few of those because I know I'm going to use those quite a lot, so I'm going to cut those. And then we've got my things to do, which I think, again, isn't that beautiful? And it's going to look so nice. Imagine half. And then of course what I've done is I've printed it on the back as well, so that's come up really nice. So there we've got my notes. So if you can see that she very kindly did a different notes for on the back of my blog post thing, so it matched my blog post. So then we've got, this is the notes for that, and again on the back. Isn't that beautiful? Again, I'm going to keep saying that, aren't I? And then we've got my shopping ones. I love this at the bottom. So that's all of those 3. So I didn't, sorry, 4. So all of these were printed in the same method as I showed you for the blog post, exactly the same way. Okay, so now to the planner. Now this is slightly different to the method that we've been using so far for the printing, and that's because you're having to print fronts and backs that have to relate to each other, because obviously the dates in the planner have to follow through. Manuela has actually done it so that it is easy for us to do. So what we've got is, you've got here, I've named it A4, it was actually not called A4, but I changed it to A4 to remind me, and you've got here a PDF which you just open, and then this has the complete planner in it, every single page. But you might notice, look here, look at the dates, they're facing with the top of them to the left, and then as you go to the next page, the top of them is, or the month is on the right hand side. So your odds and evens are in reverse, and this is so that you can ensure to print them correctly. So she's given you some instructions. So we've got instructions here, and it says print odd numbered pages first. So let's do that. First of all, we need to go to the right thing, so go to print. Now what you'll see, first of all, you'll notice is this is a very different interface to the one that we had previously. This is because it's through Adobe Acrobat, so it comes up with the Adobe printer interface, but it's still using your printer. What I want to do first is page setup. I want to make sure it says my printer, which it does because I've actually been doing some printing, and then I want to make sure it's on borderless and press OK. Then I want to go to this other printer icon, and for me, this, because the way I need to do it, I need to again change it to be to the rear tray. Again, that's already set up because I had already been in there. Then all we need to do, make sure it's on fit, which it should be. Should do that automatically, but just double check. Then go to options, and you want to do odd pages first, and then click print, and it will print all of these pages. Okay, so I've now printed the odd pages, odd numbered pages. What she says is when you print it, it will come out with the month on this side on the top, and what you need to do is twist it on the vertical axis around so that the month is on the back on this side. You can just see it as if that's showing through the page if you had a really thin page. But so the instructions that we had was that it would come out of the printer with our date, with our month up here, which it has. I'll show you. So what she says to do is with the month here, basically just on this axis, on your vertical line here, just turn it and then put that into your printer like so. Okay, so you've seen how to twist the pages, so you've put those back in your printer feed. So it's really simple. It's exactly the same process as we did with the odd pages, but now instead of clicking on odd pages, you want to click on even pages and click print, and then it should go ahead. If you've twisted it correctly, it should go ahead and print it correctly. Don't forget that she has made the pages in opposites so that when you twist it in that way, it will print them with the months always on, both on the same top, as it were, so they won't be mixed up, they'll be all the way right way up. However, if it was me, I would definitely grab the first page when it pops out the printer and just make sure that you've done it correctly. If you haven't, at least at that point you can pause or stop the print and you've only wasted one of the pages that you've printed out. But if you follow what we've said, I don't think you'll have any problems. Okay, so let's get printing for the second half, and when that's all done, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so here is the completed in that it's printed and cut, just checking which way up it is, planner, and I will go through this. Actually, what I decided was I would actually flick through the pages in more detail when I'm actually got it in my Filofax, because I think that would be a lot simpler, but here it is anyway, and I think it looks gorgeous. So the next little thing is the months, and again I've got A5. Unlike the planner, there's no, as far as I can see, there's no actual complete like January through to December document, which I think in view of how we did the planner, it could have been done in the same way, in that we could have printed it in the same method. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to print all the fronts, so all the months, and then I'm going to twist them as a group, starting back again at January, and print page 2. So I'm going to flip the whole bundle the same as I did with the planner. So what I'll do is I'll show you as I do it. So we're going to do print, and then I'm going to odd page only, and then I'm going to click print because there's only one page, and then we're going to go to February, and I'm going to do exactly the same, and then we're going to go through and we're going to do odd page again, and then I'm going to do print, and then March, and then we're just going to keep going all the way across down to December, doing all of the months. Okay, so I will come back to you when all that printing is done. Okay, so this is the months printed out. So like the actual planner, it came out with the month at the top here. Now, we obviously printed each sheet from an individual document, but I pretended in my mind that it was one document, as it were. So what I've done is I started at January, and then when we flip it, we're going to start at January again, but we're going to do even number pages. So by doing that, if you look, when we turn it like that, like we did with the planner, when this goes through, this will be the first sheet that goes through, and we'll be starting on January, and this will go through, and then it will print on the back the second sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and then get those printed, and then I'll bring it across and show you. Okay, so this isn't all of them, they're still printing, but I thought I would show you that the plan worked. So we've got here January with the month on 2 pages, and then you just pop it over and you've got on, so that will be your front page there, would have your little quote, and then on the back there you've just got some space for notes. Alright, so let's get on and do the inserts now. Okay, so it's just printing out the last of the months on the backs that we were just looking at, but while it's doing that I thought we'd prep up for our dividers. I'm going to print these on card. The others have been on Create & Crafts a super smooth paper. So going to our dividers, again these are all separates, so let's go to the front. We're going to open that one up. Right, so it's going to sit right in the middle of the page there. So we're going to print that off. So when we click on print, we're literally just going to print it. No more options because it's the only page, so it's literally just that. So then once you've printed that, and I haven't got my card in there yet, so I'm not going to hit print, you want to put it back in the printer and then print the back. And what I'll do is I will show you this, but the back is solid. If you look, it's one big square block. So what will happen is when you print it, the front will have that lovely little dividery bit, and so when you cut that out, the reverse has got a solid block which is the size including all of the white here where the divider pops out, so all down here, so that if you haven't absolutely perfectly matched it up, you could, because it would be really hard to match the tabs up here, then it will still cover that. So when you cut it out from here, you'll cut around the tab and everything, and so it'll be very simple to do. You haven't got to worry about thinking, oh, do the tabs match up back and front, and fiddling around, and I think that would almost be impossible to do. So what you want to do with these is, because you're printing a completely new document onto the back, it's not even page 2, so it's going to be printing out, it hasn't been reversed. If you have a look at the odd pages or the even pages on, say, the planner, you'll notice that they're going in opposite directions, so one is facing one way and one's facing the other, so that's so that it makes it easy for you to understand that you turn it like this and then it will print correctly for you. It's a nice simple way of doing it. But this is a document, 2 separate documents, so they're not going opposite directions, they're on the page in exactly the right direction. So all you want to do, when it's come out of my printer like that, all I do is flip it like that and put it back in that way. So here's one of the pages printed back and front, so you can see that worked. But what I wanted to show you was the completed back and front print, and also, by the way, look at the nice thickness of this card. It's going to make a lovely divider. When you cut this out, you can see it comes to about there, and there on that side, but look how much wider it is. It comes right out almost to the edge on the back, and this is so that when you cut around this piece, you're going to have for sure it covered on the back. You're going to lose some of the design obviously on this edge here, but you're going to definitely have a tab that has something on both sides without the fiddle and the worry of trying to match that up, which personally I think would be almost impossible to do. I'm just going to finish printing those off, and then I need to cut the months in half and cut around these, and I thought we could try just cutting this baby up, and I thought I would use this tonic trimmer, and I tell you why, because there's like a little wire down the center which shows you exactly where you're going to cut, and I find that really helpful, especially when you're trying to do something as perfect as this. So I'm going to cut the bottom off, and then we're going to cut the top off, because otherwise it's just not going to fit to do the side, like so. And you can see already, look how that's cutting into that. And then we're going to cut this side here, again just using that to trim and be sure to get that. And then I'm just going to get this around this way, and we're going to use the trimmer, and we're going to trim it because I want a beautiful straight line, but I'm only obviously going to go up as far as that, so it's not even quite as far as that. I'm just going to cut that off, so it's just up to there. And then I'm just going to cut that final bit here, and then around I'm going to cut across this bit here, because it's quite hard to go around those edges otherwise, because you don't want to mess up your lovely nearly. There we go, and then I want to just do this bit along there. There we go. So that's that done, and then you can see the back as well. So there you go. So I'm going to do the rest of those, and then I'll come back. Okay, so here they are all cut, and I think they look gorgeous. I'm really pleased with those. Aren't they beautiful? So you've got those all done. Now just to say, I did slightly change how I did it. I cut the top, the bottom, the side, and then I cut, because I had that wire that I showed you on there, I was able to cut down a straight line top to bottom, but using this as my edge line, so I cut that straight. Then I cut, moving this across this bit and this bit, almost to where this was. It sort of took a guess, and it was a little bit off, and you could just finish that with the scissors, and then all I had to do was cut in, and then the tiny little bit there, so that made it much straighter along those edges. So I think that worked a lot nicer, and it was quicker as well. So yeah, I think that's turned out gorgeous. I particularly love this one on the front, I have to say. So now everything is printed and everything's cut, so all I'm waiting for is the hole punch. I've now ordered that, so as soon as that arrives I'm going to punch the holes. I'll let you have a look at it, see what you think. I had to change the one that I was planning on ordering because it wasn't going to come till like nearly the end of January, so I've changed the other one to another one, so hopefully that's going to be just as good, but we will see. Okay, so the hole punch has arrived. It is a Repesco, but again I'll link any products that I can for you on my blog post, so if you go over to there, if you're on YouTube, go to the video, the paragraph below the video, it'll say show more, click on that, and it'll open up and there'll be a load of stuff, including a link under corresponding blog posts. If you click on that, it will take you to the blog post that goes with this video, and it'll have all the links that we've talked about throughout the video. Okay, so anyway, here's the hole punch. it comes in different colours. To be honest, I wasn't that enamoured of the pink, but it was better than blue, which would have clashed, I think. And I've got the pink in my, this is the kind of pink that I've got in my lodge, so I thought, right, that works. So when you do a 5/6 hole punch, the way that the holes are set up, they're too close. They're suitable for personal and mini, I think, but not all in one go for a 5. So what you have to do is pull this doodah out till it says marked on there, which you probably can't see. You can probably see that one. There's one here that says A5, so pull it to there, and then you put your paper in. So I've got this is just a scratch piece. You pop that in, lining it up so that it hits the back of your punch, and then so that it hits the end so it's in the right place, and then just punch, and then flip it over and repeat. Now that is a bit of a bummer to have to repeat the process, so you've got to do 2 lots of punching for each set of pages. However, what it does do is it does work. So there we go, because that was the Filofax there, so we know it works. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to sit here and punch all these holes while you're sitting watching, because that would be really boring. So I'm going to go off, I'm going to punch all the holes on the pages that we've printed and cut now, and then when that's all done, I'm going to come back. I'll have it in the planner by then as well, and I will give you a much better overview of the finished pages. Hi, yeah, I'm back again. I know it's only been about 2 seconds for you, but you may notice that my nails are now a different colour and they clash terribly with the planner. And the reason is it's been about a week for me since I last spoke to you on here. And the reason is I'd printed out all the stuff, as you know, for the planner. And I started putting the holes in, and I showed you on here the punch, and they were fitting. I was putting the pages in and it was working great. And then all of a sudden, because I carried on, I did the whole lot, and then I started putting the rest in the book once I checked that I was happy that the holes were correct. And then all of a sudden, as I was putting them in, loads of it didn't fit. The holes weren't right, and I really was confused. And so I had all of the actual daily planner, the whole year didn't fit, half of the months didn't fit, all of my blog post pages didn't fit. In fact, pretty much everything apart from like the notes and the shopping page lists thing fitted, but that's about it. And as you know, I think I mentioned, the ink on my printer was running out as well, so I'd ordered it, but I was being a bit impatient, and it looked okay when I printed it. I showed it to you, so I thought, well, that's okay. So I started to reprint, and then I had done, it looked okay, as I said, as I was reprinting, even though the ink ran out. But then I realised that a second ink cartridge of the colours had run out, so I had to wait, and I've had to reprint all of the annual planner, all of the, not all, half of the months, and all the blog post pages, and redo them. And actually I think it might have been a blessing in disguise, because with the new ink, which is what I had to wait for, it was just really different. Actually, the colours were much more vibrant and much crisper, so I think it was actually worth waiting, and perhaps it was a blessing in disguise that this wrecked it. But what I want to do is show you what happened on here, because if you did get something like this one, it's fine once you know. It's not a big problem at all. In fact, it's actually a really useful trick that it's got, but I just didn't know about it. I didn't see it on the instructions. I haven't got them anymore. In fact, the instructions are pretty sparse, to be honest, so I just didn't know about it. And what I'd done was I'd taken the back off, because some of the punches had got stuck in the little punch holes down there. They hadn't just flopped into this bit so I could empty it through this. It had actually got stuck in the holes, and it was causing me a problem when I was putting paper in. So I'd taken the bottom off and I poked in the holes because it had got really stuck. So I'd been poking at it, and I think that's what had changed this on the back that I didn't even know moved, because look, that can move. So if you look here, it says Pocket Mini Agenda A6 and A5 at least. So I now have the completed planner all ready to show you. So taking my hands out of the way, this is the planner as you saw before, but now we have it with all the gorgeousness inside. So I've got here, let's just push this open nicely, there we go. So I kept the front plastic cover because I thought it looked quite nice over the dividers, and I have to say this one's my favourite of all of the dividers. So that's that, and then you've got this here. So now we come to the months. Now can you see, I don't know if you remember from before because it was only a few seconds for you guys, but the difference in the colours here. So I think definitely it's much more vibrant with this printer being a little bit more full of ink. So we've got my January here. So this is where I'm going to plan out my sort of blog post. So literally, as I did with my Erin Condren, I literally just write, say, on the Friday planner video, whatever, and then I just write down what I'm going to be doing, literally just like a header, and then on my blog post pages I can get into more detail with what exactly I need to do and also where I'm at with it, etc. And then obviously the day-to-day planner is like the day-to-day weekly planner that I have on my Erin Condren as well. So then we've got notes and your quote page. So that's quite cool if you want to write something on the back just to remind you of something. And the thing I like about having it so I can print it is that I can reprint it, as you now can see, because I've had to redo it. And I think that makes, if I completely screw up a month or a page or a week page, I can just redo that whole page. So that's quite nice, because sometimes you write a whole load of stuff in and you're like, oh, that's completely changed this week, and now if I Tipp-Ex it out or I just cross it out, there's not going to be room or it's going to look messy. So that's what I quite like about printing it. But if you think you're fairly good at writing stuff out, or you do it in pencil and you can erase it, then I guess you would be no problem in having the ready printed version that she does. I mean, look at the colour, it's definitely so much better, I think, with the new ink cartridges. And I'm obviously going fairly quickly because we've got quite a little bit to go through. So this is all our months. And I'm assuming if you want to read any of those, you can always pause. But also there's examples on her page on Etsy, so you can see some pictures of the pages as well. Isn't that beautiful? I hadn't seen that. It looks like sparkle. I almost attempted to, when I get to it, to put some stickles on that for later. I just think that looks so pretty. Look, there's our little Santa, and doesn't it look a little bit redder this time? And just again, the colours are so much more vibrant. So now we come to my next divider. And you can see again how, oh, and I had to redo all the dividers as well. I forgot that because all the dividers were wrong. So that was another one I had to redo. So that again, it was just so annoying. I couldn't believe like all of it, and I checked it and then they were all wrong. It was like, I've got the Filofax ruler here because I tried the Erin Condren, but of course that's into a wire bound, so it's got all the like little loads and loads of holes, like little teeth all the way along the ruler, so it really didn't fit. I'm not a massive fan of this Filofax ruler, to be honest. It's a little bit floppy. I prefer the Erin Condrens, but you know, it is what it is. So here we go. I'm gonna not necessarily do every page, well, you know, because we'll be here a long time. And they're beautiful. Again, you can see the difference in the colours, I think. And I love the fact that, like, here we've got it like this, and then on this page we've got them down like that, and then some squares. So I love the fact that they're different on each page. And I love all the images on it and everything. I think it's just stunning. They're so freshly done that they're still almost static from the printer, you know, that kind of where it almost sticks to itself. And I love, look, if you look here, how the image does go across the other page, and yet when you print it, you'll have a completely different page here because of the way that it has to print in order for it to follow through. And it's just really interesting. Like here again, it really looks like it's matching up really well, and yet it was a completely different page here. What I would say, again, another thing I discovered was that you really need to, if you're cutting A4 in half, you really want one of those guillotines or trimmers that have it marked for A5 for cutting, because I found when I tried to do it just along the line that you could see, although it wasn't so obvious on these, but on say the month pages you could see a line, it still didn't actually seem to be in half exactly, so I had to diddle with it. So when I got, my dad had a trimmer that actually, it was one of my old ones that I gave him, but it had it marked on it, and it was just so much easier, so I definitely recommend that you do that. Or again, if you're concerned about doing any of this yourself, you know, a lot of these printing companies will print them for you, and you can just you know, pay them to do it. They'll have it all guillotined and hole punched and everything, so it'll just be done. And then, you know, worst case, if you had to do one page again because you messed up or something, you've still got it there to redo yourself just on one page, but you could get the bulk of it. Isn't that beautiful? You could get the bulk of it kind of done and dusted, and I don't think they cost that much to be done, to be honest. It's probably, by the time you've got decent paper yourself and you've done the printing and used the ink and everything, because it, I mean, to be fair, it didn't use that much ink, I have to say, because my ink was literally, it said it's run out, there's nothing in it, and when you looked at it you couldn't see any ink on it, and yet I printed all of this. Now it was a little bit more faded, I grant you, but it did do it. So, and now when I put the new ink, it literally, on the levels, on the supply levels, you can't even see that it's moved, and yet it's printed all those months, the dividers, this whole year, and my blog pages, and you literally can't even see that the ink has moved. And that's to do with the quality of your paper. If you get decent paper, the paper doesn't absorb the ink, it just sits on the surface lovely, and therefore it doesn't use as much. And of course, if you were not so worried, you could take it down a level so that it wasn't absolutely like photo quality or whatever. I mean, I've just got standard or basic, I think, on my printer. It's a very old printer, but it's really, really good. I love it. So it doesn't have any fancy stuff on it, but you know, if you do have that option, you probably take it down a level, because it isn't photos, they are like artworks, so you could get away with it, I'm sure. But test it, see what works, and if you're worried about the ink. But as I said, it is mostly your paper quality that will make the difference. And this Super Smooth from Create & Craft is, oh, isn't that beautiful? It's really good for printing on, and it's designed for printing images on it and stuff like this, because they use it for digital decoupage and papers and things like that. So they've picked it for that reason. I don't think it was made specially, but it was picked out for being a good paper for that reason. So, you know, just check your paper and the quality of it, and you'll be fine. Make a big difference. So that was all of the planner. You know, it's got your week to 2 pages, so that's a whole week, and you get a notes section as well, which is kind of cool. So then we've got the next divider. Isn't that lovely? And then I've put my blog posts in here, pages. So again, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring you down a little bit closer, because so I've brought you a little closer so you can see it, and I just think it's so beautiful. And so here I put the title of my blog, and then we've got the tasks, so, and then with subtitles, YouTube and blog posts. So basically this is what I need to do on my video, and there's space to add some extra bits if I need some other things that I've got to do for it. And then here's a list of things that I need to do when I'm writing the blog post that goes with the video. So I can now, I gave her a list of the things and said, you know, could you separate them, blah, blah, blah. So she's put that in. So this is a custom made one. So, you know, if you need something like this, then I'm sure she can do, or for whatever purpose, she will be able to do it for you. And it was just really cool. And then here I've just got to remind me that I'm going to post something about it to all of these social medias, and then also this is just where am I in the process of doing the blog post. So I have to film it, edit it, upload the film, then I have to do photos, draft the post, schedule it, and then when it's published we tick it off so we know it's finished with. And these are all the keywords and tags that I need to add in order to help you guys find it, and also new people. So that's kind of cool. And then on the back of this sheet, because originally we were going to just do it at the bottom, and I was like, well, if we did this it would give me more space, but also it means it gives her more space to do her arty thing with it, which is what I really wanted because I just loved what she did. So on the back here we have a notes page, which is going to be really handy for me because I can sort of write some notes or draw a little sketch of the card that I've got in mind. But the other thing I quite often do is for the product links, every time I'm editing the video, I put on a note paper, alright, so this is a product, and I just, as I see it, as I'm editing it, I write down so that I make sure I don't leave any of the products that I've used out of the list. So I've got quite a few of those done because obviously I'm going to use that. And there we've got my next page of divider, which is really pretty. I still think my favourite is the rose, I have to say. And then we've got a notes page section. Now I was originally going to put that Filofax paper in here as well, but it's pretty full already, as you can see, so I decided that I really didn't need it as well, but I actually really like these, so, and it's double-sided as well, so this could be used again just for general notes. Then we've got a to-do list. Again, I think this is quite handy because what you find quite often is on the actual daily planner, if you write loads of to-dos, but you've got sort of, there's no particular order, you just know that you want to just crack on with some of your to-do list, but you don't have any preference. You could have a to-do list here and you could just put in your planner, you know, to-do list, and then you want to go to here, look at some of the things that you need to do and check them off, do a couple of them and check them off, rather than write the specifics down here. So I've just put a few of those. Now I didn't quite have enough dividers, but actually I'm not sure I'm that bothered. I've got a shopping list here. I'm not sure whether, I just loved it so I printed it out. I do that, but quite often I put it on my phone on the digital version, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to use these. We'll see. I like it a lot, so it's not, I just love the look of it. So we'll see how it goes and whether I use it or not. And that is everything printed. And then in the back we've got the Filofax wallet, and then I also took out my Erin Condren pocket, and it had one of the little sticky things that she has that you can put on things, and has the teeth on it to attach to her planner. So I pulled that off and then I punched the holes in so that it could come into my planner here. So there we go. This has been a bit of a marathon video, I am aware, but I really wanted to show you the whole process from beginning to end of how we can do these inserts for our Filofax with using digital format. But again, don't forget, if you really like this style and her stuff here specifically, then she does do this ready-made, and you can just order it as is and it will be printed and sent to you printed. But if you're quite happy to, having watched the video, if you weren't sure before or you were happy anyway to do this yourself, then I think you can see that it comes out really, really nicely and you get a really nice finished result. Again though, just to say, because I don't want you to think that I'm just talking about this lady only, you can go onto Etsy and search, and there's loads of people in there. Just put planner inserts and you'll find loads come up. Obviously I'm being specific to this particular person on Etsy because that's who I use. Now, I told you that there was 2 items that I didn't pay for. That wasn't something I knew about in advance. It was something that happened after I sort of commissioned it and was expecting to pay, and it was only at the end that I knew that I wasn't. So this video is still completely my own opinions. I sort of haven't been paid for it or any of those things. It's absolutely 100% what I think. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful, and don't forget that the things that I've said about printing and downloading and all of that will apply even if it's not for planner stuff. If you're going onto her site or other people's sites on Etsy or other stores that do digital formats, the principle of downloading it, printing it out, etc. is the same. And finally, just before I say goodbye, to say to you, don't forget to go across to the blog post. If you're on YouTube, you will find the link underneath this video where it says show more. Click show more, and then you'll see a heading that says corresponding blog post with a link underneath it. In this instance, I have got some photographs from Manuela herself of some planners that she made that she didn't put into a Filofax. She did it in a different way. So I thought that you might be, she showed me, and I said, oh, can I have them to show you guys? Because I thought you'd be interested to see how you can make it into your own version without even having a Filofax. So I thought that you would like to see that. So definitely hop on over to see that as well. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.